It may come to no surprise to you, but I really enjoy riding my bike. And what I really enjoy doing when I'm riding my bike is actually quite often listening to music. Now I've tried listening to headphones when I'm riding around, even got some AirPods that have transparency mode and stuff, but you just can't still quite connect to the road and connect to music all at the same time, and I just didn't use them. So what I ended up doing was which a lot of people do, is use a speaker. To start with, I played it quite kind of close to me and quite quiet. But over time, I played it louder and louder to the point now I put it at full volume and I just tear through the city, listening to metal, listening to hip hop, listening to whatever I might be listening to. And sometimes people tell me I shouldn't be doing that. Now, I made a video about a year ago now, maybe a little bit longer, talking about all my favourite kind of things that I have on me when I go commuting or just riding in the city in general. And one of the things I mentioned was a clip-on speaker. And tons of people in those comments said, don't do that, which is fair enough, okay. A lot of people said you should try out Shokz. Now, people still comment on that video till this day. Like last week, I think it was, someone actually mentioned you should try out Shokz then. So I actually reached out to Shokz and told them about all the comments I keep getting about your headphones and said, do you fancy sending me out some to try out? And they said, well, you could do one better than that. We've got a brand new set that hasn't been released yet. Do you fancy testing it for a few weeks before they get launched? And I said, yes, please. So these are the OpenRun 2s from Shokz. They're a sports headphone that goes over the head or around the head and over the ears and is designed for everything from running, cycling, hiking, exercising and riding retro bikes. The reason these are so good for sports and all these types of things are the open ear design. So there's nothing actually going into my ear to play music. What it's using is bone conduction. So the section here uses bone conduction technology, which I don't know what that means. When I thought about this, I thought about those toothbrushes that you put in your mouth when you were a kid that vibrated and you can kind of hear music. It's not like that, put it that way. But the magic of bone conduction basically means that I can hear music just through the way this is connecting to my face. And then there's a air conduction here that delivers bass as well. And whilst all that is happening, I can hear clearly and honestly, amazingly, but you wouldn't be able to hear right now. I could be playing music right now and you wouldn't be able to hear it, even with my big fancy microphone. It also has IP55 water resistance, which is perfect for rain, sweat and splashes and things like that. So if you are cycling in the rain, you should be all good. And if you're at the gym lifting those weights, getting all sweaty and stuff, you're also all good. Now, I think you're going to probably agree with me here that when it ever comes to Bluetooth headphones, the microphones always suck. Well, I've switched over to the microphone on these now, and I hope you agree with me, but I think the microphone is really, really good. I'm not going to continue using this because I've got a really expensive mic. I'm going to use the microphone instead. But like, if I wanted to, if I was out on my bike recording something, they're really good. It's a good microphone, which is always a surprise with headphones. Another important factor when it comes to any Bluetooth anything is battery life. So battery life on these headphones is up to 12 hours on one charge, which is pretty good and probably more than you'd need for most day cases. I charged mine fully and I didn't have to charge it again for almost a week, and that's just using it here and there over the week for an hour or two, bit of time here, sometimes just on my head for a phone call, and then took them off again, put them back in the case. So like, the batteries on them is very good. But let's say you're someone who actually uses them very, very heavily and you've cleaned that 12-hour battery. These, if you plug them in charge, and I'm going to get this right because this is pretty impressive, 5 minutes will give you 2.5 hours of extra charge, which is crazy. Like 5 minutes, plug them in. And on that note, it's USB-C as well. No proprietary. It's USB-C. Another thing that's worth mentioning is I keep taking them on and off. I posted these on Instagram when they launched, and a couple of people said they were relieved to to see me have them on because they thought they wouldn't work with glasses. I've got quite chunky glasses. The arms and the lenses on me very, very chunky. So generally, and to be honest, when they said they were going to send them out to me, I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm actually going to be able to use these because of my glasses. But unlike a lot of over-ear headphones, when the way they hook, these kind of sit on instead of get in the way of the glasses. So like, I put my glasses on first, pop these over the top, and like they're going nowhere, and they feel great. So if you are a glasses wearer, they're perfect. You may have noticed I've got a bit of a red nose. That's because I've been on holiday for the last week and a half, and I've been out indoors having the best time of my life. I even met a couple of you guys down on the beach in Jurassic Coast, anyway, fossil hunting. So shout out to those people. But I was also there with my dad, and he's very particular when it comes to his music. But because he doesn't like technology, he's stuck with MP3 players basically, and he'll sit there listening to his music nearly all day long. And I actually caught a glimpse of him sleeping whilst we were there listening to music. So I thought he'd be a great person to try out. But I did not tell him that they were bone conductive, and I thought it'd be really interesting just to see him try and put them on his head before I told them what they were.
Ready?
Yeah.
Action.
Yeah, you can have some of that. Let's put it all together.
Oh, interesting. Fit me head. Is that right?
No. Once I did tell him what they were and how they worked, he put them on straight away, and he listened to music for the rest of the afternoon, and it took a lot of work to get them back. But when I did get them back, my son also wanted to try them out, and this is kind of like a bit of a side note really, because these are definitely advertised for people like us who ride bikes, who might do sport, activity, whatever that might be, but I also kind of rate them for children. These headbands come in two different sizes, so there's got the standard, but there's also a small. My son has been wearing these, and I don't really like him watching lots of stuff on his iPad. I say his iPad, it's my iPad, but the iPad, taking in content, all that sort of stuff. But when we're traveling on holiday and things like that, it's boring, I get that. So the iPad was perfect, but I also don't like him then being shut off from the world. So these are perfect, I think, actually for young people, children, taking in content, whether when you're traveling, things like that. So he was able to use these whilst we were kind of out and about in the car on the long legs and stuff, watching his iPad, but he also wasn't just getting completely taken away from the world, which I quite liked. But I used these quite a bit when I was on holiday, even when I was packing up the tent. There was no one in the field apart from the one guy who decided to put his tent directly next to mine, but that's whatever. But whilst we were packing our tents down at the same time, I wanted to listen to music on my speaker that I brought, but I felt a bit weird about that, so instead I put these bad boys on, and I was able to listen to music whilst I was packing stuff down, and it was great. So the Shokz are now available. They dropped on the 28th of August. So if you are watching this video the day I release it, they're already available in shops. There is a link down in the description so you can check them out more. But I know you can get them on Amazon at John Lewis, and even if you're in London, you can get them in Selfridges. But they're £169, and they come in a couple of different colours as well. These are quite cool. They also have some really bright orange ones which look amazing. So yeah, do feel free to check them out. So a massive shout out and thank you to Shokz for sending these out. I genuinely absolutely love these. If you're a subscriber to the channel, you know when I mean these sort of things. Like, this is actually legit really, really good. If I didn't like it that much, I'd just be like, oh yeah, so this is a thing and this is some specs. These I like, so take that how you want it. But if you're new to the channel from this video, hello, feel free to stick around. We do a lot of bike related content on here, but mainly retro bike builds. That's the thing we're passionate about. If you want to subscribe to the channel, that's the button you press there. It's completely free and it helps me out a bunch. And if you want to see one of those builds I was on about, that one there is a particularly good one.